In the year 2018, in the sprawling, sun-soaked city of Los Angeles, a chilling mystery began to unfold, one that would leave the nation captivated and horrified. 21-year-old Elaine Park, a vibrant and talented young woman with dreams of making it big in Hollywood, disappeared without a trace, leaving behind an eerie trail of unanswered questions and a case that continues to haunt investigators and her family to this day. Elaine was last seen alive on January 28, 2018. She had spent the night at her on-again, off-again boyfriend's house in Calabasas, a wealthy enclave known for its gated communities and celebrity residents. The two were reportedly in the midst of a rocky relationship, and while details of their interactions that evening remain unclear, nothing seemed out of the ordinary until Elaine vanished. Security footage from his home captured Elaine leaving in the early hours of the morning, her petite figure illuminated briefly by the cold glow of the porch light. She appeared to be walking with purpose, but her movements carried an undertone of unease, as if she were lost in thought or sensing something unseen. The clip showed her walking briskly to her car, a silver 2015 Honda Civic, before driving off into the pre-dawn darkness. That fleeting moment, frozen in grainy footage, would be the last time anyone would see her alive. When Elaine failed to return home or contact her family, her mother, Susan, immediately knew something was wrong. Elaine wasn't the type to vanish without a word. She was responsible, close to her family, and deeply connected to her friends. Her absence was a deafening alarm, one that Susan couldn't ignore. Panic set in as hours stretched into days, each one an agonizing blur of worry and dread. Susan frantically called Elaine's phone, her fingers trembling with every dial, her heart breaking with every unanswered ring. She left voicemail after voicemail, her voice cracking with desperation, begging Elaine to call back or just let her know she was safe. But the silence was unrelenting, a void that grew heavier with each passing moment. Then, 5 days after Elaine disappeared, a discovery sent shockwaves through the search efforts. Her car, a silver 2015 Honda Civic, was found abandoned along the Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu, parked on the shoulder near Corral Canyon Road. The sight of her car, empty and eerily still, struck a chilling chord with her family and investigators alike. The vehicle was locked, her belongings, including her wallet, phone, and keys, intact inside. To those searching for Elaine, it felt like the car was a ghostly marker, a silent witness to whatever had happened. The location itself, a desolate stretch of highway bordered by steep cliffs and the endless expanse of the ocean, only deepened the sense of dread. It was a place where the world seemed to end, a place where secrets could vanish as easily as the tides. Inside the vehicle, investigators found Elaine's personal belongings: her phone, keys, wallet, and backpack, all untouched. The car was locked and there were no signs of a struggle. It was as if Elaine had simply stepped out of the car and vanished into the salty air of the Pacific. The location of the car only deepened the mystery. The stretch of highway where it was found is known for its breathtaking views, but also for its isolation. The cliffs plunge dramatically into the ocean below, and the area is often shrouded in mist, giving it an almost otherworldly feel. It was a place where secrets could easily be swallowed by the sea, where the vast expanse of water seemed to taunt those searching for answers. As days turned into weeks, the search for Elaine intensified, growing into a desperate and all-encompassing effort. Helicopters scoured the coastline, their blades slicing through the thick morning fog as they hovered over the jagged cliffs. Search and rescue teams trudged through the rugged terrain, their boots sinking into the loose, rocky soil as they called Elaine's name into the emptiness. Divers braved the icy waters below the cliffs, their flashlights cutting through the murky depths in search of any clue, no matter how small. But there was no sign of Elaine, not a piece of clothing, not a footprint, not a single thread to unravel the mystery. It was as if the earth itself had conspired to hide her, swallowing her whole without leaving a trace. Theories began to swirl, each one more chilling and unsettling than the last. Had Elaine been abducted, her car left behind as a decoy to mislead investigators? Had she fallen victim to foul play, her body hidden in the depths of the ocean or the dense brush of the Malibu hills? Or perhaps most hauntingly, had Elaine willingly walked away from her life, leaving behind everything and everyone she knew? For those who loved her, the idea was unthinkable. Elaine was deeply connected to her family and friends, and there was no indication that she had been planning to disappear. But the lack of evidence left room for every possibility, no matter how far-fetched or heartbreaking. The location of the car only added to the growing sense of unease. The Pacific Coast Highway, with its breathtaking beauty and dramatic cliffs, is a place that seems to exist on the edge of reality. The sound of crashing waves echoes like a melancholic symphony, and the mist that rolls in from the ocean can obscure even the clearest of views. It's a place where the line between the known and the unknown blurs, where the vastness of the sea seems to hold countless secrets. For Elaine's family, the highway became a symbol of their worst fears, a place where their daughter had vanished, leaving behind only questions and an unbearable sense of loss. The investigation took a darker turn when details of Elaine's final hours came to light. Her boyfriend, the last known person to see her, told police that she had left his house after experiencing what he described as a panic attack. He claimed she had been visibly distressed, her breathing shallow and her demeanor uncharacteristically frantic. Elaine did have a history of anxiety and depression, but those closest to her found it hard to believe that she would simply abandon her life without a word. She had always been open about her struggles, leaning on her family and friends for support. The boyfriend cooperated with police, answering their questions and providing access to his property. But his account raised more questions than it resolved. Why had Elaine left so abruptly in the dead of night? And why had she driven to such a remote and desolate location? Then there was the matter of the security footage. While it confirmed that Elaine had left the house of her own free will, it also captured something deeply unsettling. Her movements were erratic, her steps hurried but uncertain, as if she were trying to escape something unseen. Her body language was tense, her head turning frequently, scanning her surroundings as if she were being watched or followed. The footage painted a haunting picture of a young woman in distress, her fear almost palpable through the grainy images. It was a fleeting glimpse into her state of mind, but it left an indelible mark on those who saw it. What had Elaine seen or thought she had seen that night? Was she fleeing from a real threat, or was she battling a storm within herself? The questions lingered, unanswered and haunting, casting a dark shadow over the investigation. As the months dragged on, the case grew colder, but the questions only grew louder. Elaine's family, refusing to let her memory fade, poured their hearts into their own investigation. They hired private detectives, sparing no expense in their relentless pursuit of the truth. Flyers bearing Elaine's face were plastered across Los Angeles, her eyes staring out with an unspoken plea for help. Vigils were held under the dim glow of candlelight, where friends, family, and strangers gathered to share their hope and sorrow, their voices united in a desperate call for answers. Susan Park, Elaine's mother, became the unwavering force behind the search, her grief and determination etched deeply into every line of her face. She tirelessly spoke to the media, her voice trembling but firm, a mixture of heartbreak and resolve. "Elaine didn't just disappear," she said, her words cutting through the silence like a blade. "Someone knows what happened to her." Her pleas echoed across television screens and social media, touching the hearts of thousands. But as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, the weight of the unanswered questions grew heavier, and the mystery of Elaine Park's disappearance only deepened, haunting everyone who heard her story. The case took another bizarre turn when psychics and online sleuths entered the fray, each adding their own layer of intrigue and speculation. Psychics claimed to have visions of Elaine, painting vivid and unsettling images of her being held against her will in a shadowy unknown location or wandering aimlessly through the wilderness, lost and vulnerable. Their descriptions, though unverifiable, sent shivers down the spines of those who heard them. Meanwhile, online sleuths, armed with determination and a sharp eye for detail, began dissecting Elaine's digital footprint. They scoured her Instagram posts and Snapchat stories, searching for hidden messages or overlooked clues that might shed light on her disappearance. One post in particular captivated their attention. It was a haunting photo of Elaine standing on a cliff, her silhouette framed against the infinite expanse of ocean stretching behind her. The caption read, "Sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself." To some, it seemed like a cryptic cry for help, a veiled expression of inner turmoil. To others, it was simply the musings of a young woman caught in a moment of reflection. Yet in the context of her disappearance, the post took on an eerie significance, fueling theories and leaving those who saw it questioning whether the answers had been hiding in plain sight all along. Despite the tireless efforts of law enforcement, private investigators, and countless volunteers, the case remains an agonizing mystery. Elaine's disappearance has become a chilling modern ghost story, a stark reminder of how quickly a life can vanish into the void, leaving behind only questions and shattered hearts. Theories surrounding her fate continue to swirl, each one more unsettling than the last. Some believe she fell victim to foul play, her trust betrayed by someone she knew. Others suggest she may have succumbed to her inner demons, overwhelmed by struggles she kept hidden from even those closest to her. And then there are those who cling to the fragile hope that Elaine is still alive, living under a new identity, somewhere far from the life she left behind, her reasons cloaked in secrecy. In the years since Elaine vanished, her family has refused to let her memory fade into obscurity. They have transformed their grief into a relentless fight for answers, becoming advocates for missing persons and pushing for greater resources to solve cold cases. Susan Park, Elaine's mother, has been the unwavering heart of this fight, her love for her daughter driving her forward even in the face of unimaginable pain. "I just want to know what happened to my daughter," she pleads, her voice raw with emotion. "I just want to bring her home." The disappearance of Elaine Park is a story that defies logic, a puzzle with too many missing pieces and no clear solution. It is a tale of love and heartbreak, of hope and despair, of a young woman whose life was brimming with potential, snatched away in the blink of an eye. And as the sun dips below the horizon, casting its golden light over the cliffs of Malibu, the mystery of Elaine Park lingers like a shadow, a haunting reminder that some questions are destined to remain unanswered.